So Montana is roughly 10 months old. She's a St. Bernard. She has reactivity issues. She doesn't do well when she meets new people or new dogs. I know she's had an incident at the vet and she's had some other problems lately. Getting to see it with my own eyes, I can tell you without a doubt, she's not an aggressive dog, but that doesn't mean that she won't bite. So a dog who's not aggressive can still get themselves in a situation where they bite. What I saw is a lack of confidence. She doesn't trust the other dog. She doesn't know how to interact with it. She's only 10 months old. A lot of dogs go through a fear stage. So all I see is a dog who's not super social, that doesn't know how to interact. Obviously the problem is, not only is she terrible to walk right now, it's no fun, but if she does that to the wrong dog, they're gonna fight her back and then you're gonna have a huge dog fight on your hands. So we have to fix this, but we need to know the underlying reason why. For me to fix this, I've just met her, so we have no relationship. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out some things she likes. She's not super into getting petted by new people. I know, meeting new people is a problem. So I'm gonna do some things with her to try to build that relationship. I'll try food, I'll try toys, I'll try walking her, petting her, we'll see. And then I'm gonna institute a little bit of training rules with her, teach her to look to me, to pay attention to me. I'll teach her how to take a correction when she does something wrong and to understand what that means. And then we'll start working with dogs and see how she does. So Matt, I'm just gonna try some treats here. I just want something to tell her I'm not a bad guy. You can see she's very nervous and obviously that's not a surprise to you guys. That's kind of her MO right now. So there, she took the treat and then she's not comfortable enough to eat it. I don't trust her and she doesn't trust me enough for me to bend down and pick up that treat from in front of her face. So what I'm gonna do is I'll either move it with my foot or I'll just grab another one. Hey, what's this, girl? So that little trick I did of getting her moving can make a big difference. Come on, sweetie. If I'm always going to her, she's likely to backpedal. I want her to get used to moving to me. So the things I'm looking for here are I want to see her mouth open, and I don't just mean open to eat the treat, but open and relaxed. So when a dog is tense or stressed, you're always going to see the mouth shut, unless they're extremely hot and stressed, they might be panting. When the dog approached and when she sees new people, always her mouth tends to shut because she's not comfortable. I want to see this, like a nice, relaxed, open mouth. And I know you've seen that crouching down in front of her with a new person doesn't help if they do it right away. A lot of people think if you get down in front of the dog or get to their level, it'll make them more relaxed. With her, I know it often creates the opposite issue because a new person, when they're down on her level, it's scary and threatening because they're like right there in her face. Nothing wrong with getting down. Hey, come here. But if I'm doing that, I want her coming to me as opposed to me walking up to her and there you go, and crouching down right in her face and trying to pet her. So as I start building a little bit of a relationship with her, I want to turn it into a training relationship, meaning I don't just want her to see me as a dispenser of treats or someone that came here to pet her. I want her to know she has to listen. Montana, sit. Yes, good girl. And at the start, these treats aren't like meant to be what gets her to sit. Hey, free. They're meant to be a reward for a job well done. Let's go, Montana. Come on, girl. And I'm trying to build that relationship and have her think about me and what I want. Oh yeah, let's go. Good. Sit. Yes, the girl. So if you notice there, when I asked her to sit, I walked towards her just a little bit. Some people will call that spatial pressure, and it catches her attention. Now, if I had done that 10 minutes ago when I first met her, I guarantee she would have jumped and barked and freaked out a little bit, but we need to build this relationship through time. Yes, the girl. Sit. Oh, very nice. And right now, I don't want you to get super caught up on, like if you're familiar with marker words, like you have to say the right thing at the right time. All of that stuff is important, and it's great to institute all of that, but on day one, we can't do all of that. And if we're trying to, we're just gonna stress ourselves out. We're gonna stress the dog out. And so that's the first time I've touched on top of her head. This I know is a trigger for her, right? If a new person comes up and tries to pat right on the head, that always stresses her out. So we have to build up to those little things. And so now, even though we've talked already, you and I, a little bit about the heel command, I haven't said it to her here. And it wouldn't be bad to be saying it. I just also don't think so far it would have been very helpful. So what's the point? Okay. Yes, the girl. So if you notice, I haven't really done anything to create this auto sit. I've said sit very few times. I've just kind of wandered a circle, petted her and engaged her, but she's already starting to figure out that I like when she does that. So even just from these 5 minutes, she's starting to realize I'm happy when she sits and something good happens. Maybe it's me petting her, maybe it's a treat. What a girl. And I love that the mouth is open while I pet, especially these pets here. on top of the head and over the mouth. This is not something you want to do with a new dog, but as we're building this relationship, it's a great thing to add in. And so that yawn I love, that's stress relief. Now someone might say, well, that's bad, that means she's stressed. Well, you'd have to be an idiot to not know that Montana gets stressed by new things, right? We've seen her with dogs, we've seen her with new people. She carries a lot of stress in her. But as I pet her like this, I see the mouth is open, she's overall very relaxed. And you might think of this as a small thing, but the way you interact with the dog, every second matters. And all of this is me building the right kind of relationship with her where she sees me as a buddy, but also as her leader, which is gonna be crucial when I get dogs out in a minute. So now what I'm working on here is I need some way to communicate her when we pass the dog. It's great if we have heel, sit, stay, come, watch me, like all of those things are good, but those also take time. Like I'm not gonna be able to in one session teach her and teach you all of that stuff to where all of a sudden you can just say, watch me on the walk and everything's perfect. So right now, I just want some little things we can do when walking that I can get her attention and tell her, hey, you need to be with me right now, not staring the other direction. So one could be this little tap. Hey, Montana. Yes, there's a girl. Yes. And we can see, even though she's excited, she's still doing this at St. Bernard speed, right? She's slow, and that's fine. And I don't have her in a, super intense heel right now. First off, that's not her. Like her personality is not moving quickly, focused on you the whole time. So I want you to be able to walk her the way that you enjoy walking her and the way she likes. The way she would love to walk would be like this. Come on, Montana. Just a nice, slow stroll. And then when we come across that dog or that person, we need some way to gain control again, or hopefully to even keep control the entire time. Montana, yes, that's the girl, come on. Look at you. I was making her work for the treat a little bit. And what this does is that it creates longer interactions between us. But I also want something I can do that when she sees that other dog and I want her attention back on me, if you're in the habit of, if you give her a treat, if you toss it to her or whatever, you put it in her mouth, she eats it instantly, she can eat that treat and then stare at the dog again. So it might not be a very good way to redirect that focus if she eats it too quick. So I want her to get used to starting to kind of go for my hand. Yes. You want this? Oh yeah. And spend a minute working for it. With what I see, I'm ready to start working with her with dogs. This has been, 10, maybe 15 minutes. We could spend 3 hours doing this. We could spend 3 weeks doing this. The longer you do it, the better your obedience would be. So of course we could work on the heel command and get that rock solid, and all of that stuff is great. But with what I've seen, I think we're ready to start introducing dogs immediately. We'll see how it goes. My expectations of her are gonna be don't lunge at the dog. That's it. I'm not gonna expect her to be in a perfect heel. I'm not gonna expect her to hold sit stays. I'm not gonna expect her to love the dog. Just simply don't lunge and we're gonna be good. All right, so obviously we've got another dog out over there, and Montana is already doing better than she normally would. I recognize she's doing better than when she's with the family, but here she's interested. Now with dogs, especially reactive dogs, people struggle on when do you allow them to look at the dog. Right now she's in no command. I haven't asked her to sit, stay, anything. She just did this. There's no reason she can't look at that dog. Now what I don't like is targeting. And by targeting, I mean like staring with intent, like intent to do harm, or like a really distrustful stare. Right now her mouth's open. Like her body language, if you just look at this, you'd say, that's a chill dog, everything's fine. Now as she gets up, you can see she's smelling. She's going towards the dog a little bit, but something I want you to think about, when a dog is smelling, they're trying to get to know the other animal. So when they're smelling, they're not thinking about attacking. Now, it doesn't mean they won't attack, but when she's smelling, she's curious. That's a great thing, so I don't want to interrupt that. You could hang out at this point for as long as you want to. I mean, this is a great place. She's, 30 feet from another dog. I think she just yawned again. All of her body language is stuff I love to see. Now, I'm going to get back to training her, though, so rather than just letting her hang out, I want to teach her how to interact with me when there's another dog present. And notice we're still getting that auto sit, which is great. What's this? Oh, yeah, let's go. Good. So if you notice, I kind of bumped her in the head a little bit there, and I've been doing that kind of slight little like nudges and bumps as I'm turning. The reason I do that is that's going to be a very subtle cue to get her to turn and look at me. And I want you to watch, because when I say bump her in the head, I'm not like hitting her obviously or bopping her, but when you're walking her, if she's staring at another dog and you say, Montana, heel, there's a good, now there she looked, which is great, but there's, in the past, I know she won't, right? So you just say the word, she's not gonna look. I want something else. So here, Montana, hey, let's go. So there, I didn't get a great reaction out of her. That's okay, not a big deal. But what I want is that she gets used to when you kind of nudge her, Montana, hey, yes, there's the girl, to turn and look at you. You don't have to do this every time. This might even just be an exercise for today. Oh, yes. Good. But I do want that when we nudge and we turn, she knows to come with us. But all I want to do is subtly get closer to the other dog. I don't ever like to be in a position like this right here. I can't see her mouth, so then I just have to decide based upon her tail and her ears, what is she planning? Not a good place to be. So I don't mind being behind her. I don't care if she's between me and the other dog, but I want to be able to see. But the closer I get, the more I let her be out here. Like at some point, you're just asking for trouble. Hey. Oh yeah. Hey, Montana. There you go. Good. So that time I added a little bit of leash pressure. Seems like a small thing, but leash pressure sets off a lot of dogs. And by leash pressure, I just mean this, it getting tight. What happens is naturally, of course, when she sees another dog, she starts to pull because she wants to get after him. Then, assuming as long as you don't let go of the leash, by default, it's going to become tight. That pressure frustrates a lot of dogs, and that leads to a lot of leash reactivity. So leash pressure is not necessarily a bad thing. She needs to know how to turn it off. So there's nothing wrong with she sees a dog right now. If I need to get her used to handling leash pressure, come on girl, let's go. I can strategically add a little bit just for her to get used to the idea that I feel the collar get tight, I walk to my owner, and then the collar gets loose again. If she never feels leash pressure until you're up close to another dog, that's gonna set her off and it's gonna be a problem. So one way we can combat that is by teaching her how to turn leash pressure off. So I want her to understand if the leash gets tight right here, especially when she sees a dog, hey, that coming towards me will stop that leash pressure. So now we've spent 3 or 4 minutes around this dog and she's doing great. Now we can work on passing. So what I wanna do is I wanna set myself up for success. When you're passing another dog, the more you can control, the better. So what I don't want you to do is put yourself in a position where the dogs are just kind of right next to each other and you have no ability or no space to fix it. What I would like to start with is what I call the easy pass. The easy pass is when you're between her and the other dog. Keep in mind the easy pass is always a little more dangerous for you. If she was super reactive that day, and she was in the mood to really fight or go after the dog, that means you're between her and the other dog, which means your leg is between her and the other dog. So use this wisely. Come on, good girl, let's go. So now I'm just gonna walk past the other dog, and all I'm gonna ask of her is basically stay with me, don't try to fight the other dog, and we'll see what happens. Let's go, come on. There's a girl, good. So we might call this the first successful leash pass, come on Montana, of Montana's life, right? She passed a dog without doing anything wrong. Now we could look at this and say, well, that was really easy, right? We set up the scenario in an easy way. And what I would say to that is, that's how you make progress, is you create little wins. Yes, Montana, look at you. So mouth open, which I love. Come on, girl. If you notice, I'm watching her basically the entire time. It's not the most comfortable position for you to be in, but if I can't see her, I have no idea what she's about to do. So there, when I saw her staring at the dog a little too much, I just kind of nudged her with my knee. Good. There you go. So now, if you noticed, I'm not super strict on the leash right here, but she stopped to smell. And as she was doing that, she's trying to get to know the other dog. That's exactly what you want, right? The idea is, I mean, you came to us and said we want her to be much more comfortable with new dogs and new people. So why on earth would I stop this? Hey, Montana. So if she wanted to spend 30 seconds smelling where this dog was, I would call that a great thing. So everything we've done has gone pretty well so far. Obviously, she's not lunging. She's not showing any real undesirable behavior. This is, it's going well today, but it's not always going to be like this, especially as you take the leash and you're trying to get the hang of it. So something I want you to think about is you need a little trick, something you can do if she's targeting a dog. How do you actually break it? So I've shown you, we can do that nudge, and we can nudge and kind of use a little leash pressure. We can talk to her. We can add words to it. All of those things are good, but you can't really do this if you're passing another dog and she's reacting. So a trick I use, I call it the 45-degree angle trick, is you want to buy yourself some space and you want to get her to quit staring at the dog. And I'm talking about targeting, the staring we don't like. So if I pass this dog right now and I'm walking right past her, if we're 4 feet apart, if she wants to stare, there's really no way I can stop her, right? Like unless I'm just yanking the whole time or somehow able to distract her, it's gonna be really difficult. The 45-degree angle trick, all I do is instead of going straight at the dog, out of nowhere I make a 45-degree angle and I go slightly away from the dog. The reason for that is it buys me more space. So I'll show you, we do that before we get to the other dog so that as we're passing them, we have more space, but also I want her attention this way. So now if the other dog is there and we're walking here, it's much easier for me to keep her focused this way. I'll pass the other dog and then I make a 45-degree angle back on the path. Simple as that. So we'll go ahead and try that once and I'll show you what that would look like. You can use the little trick. We can use leash pressure, some nudges on the head and talk to her, and a treat if we need to keep her attention on us and to reward the good behavior. You ready? Let's go. So we'll be walking, and if I see something I don't like, I would tell her, heel, come on girl, let's go, come on. And I head at a 45-degree angle away, and then after I pass, I then, come on girl, let's go, make a 45-degree angle back onto the path. Come on girl, let's go. So I'll show you that again. So I'm walking here, I start getting close to a dog. Montana, let's go. Come on girl, I make the 45-degree angle. Hey, let's go. Good. I get past the dog, and then I'll make my 45-degree angle back onto the path. You use that angle whenever you need it, and then you just slow it down through time. So there, let's say that was a 45, you do that for a week, maybe you go to a 40, a 30, pretty soon you're just slightly angling off the path, and then after a while you're not even gonna need it at all. So we haven't talked about corrections yet because they just simply haven't been needed. She's doing well. I mentioned to you a little bit at the start though, that a big part of this is her being able to tolerate a correction and understand it means something. So if I see something I don't like, if she targets that other dog, all I'm gonna do is give a sharp tug and tell her no, and then continue on my way. Now there's 2 skills I want you to have. The first one is I want you to be able to turn on your correction tone of voice and body language instantly, and then I want you to be able to turn your praise back on instantly as well. What I mean is a lot of people get themselves in a situation where the dog doesn't do well, so they maybe give her a tug and tell her no, and then they just stop. If you give her a correction and tell her no, and then she looks at you like, hey, what do you need from me? She recognizes she did wrong, and now she's back with you, you need to turn that praise on instantly. So I'm not gonna correct her, Millie, or Montana, come on girl, I'm not gonna correct her right now because she's done nothing wrong, but it would look like if you were walking her and she lunged, you might give a sharp tug and tell her no, and then if she looks at you, yes, that's my girl, look at you, and then you praise her for getting back on you. So you've gotta be really comfortable with that switch. So in a second, we're gonna do some introductions through the fence. Now, this fence has been a trigger for her in the past, and they are for a lot of dogs. And some people will tell you that barriers create frustration, so don't do an intro through a fence. My thought is fix the issue. So, barriers do tend to create problems for dogs, but it's also a lot of times they're used to just running up and down the fence, doing what they want. I'm just not gonna let her get away with that. So here, I don't wanna be in a position where I can't see my dog whatsoever. I'm gonna pull Millie back a little bit. Hey, So there, I gave her a little correction. If you notice, it wasn't super hard. Didn't need to be, and her reaction there wasn't super hard. She wasn't going to maul the other dog. So now what I look for the mouth. I like open. It's shut right there, but just the fact that it's shut doesn't necessarily say something bad's gonna happen, but I want you to be aware of it. Now we can work on those same tricks we were working on earlier. So I'm gonna let this play out for a second. And you can be as risk averse as you want. We could have heeled for 5 minutes or walked her along this fence while we progressively got Millie closer, and that'd be okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was seeing good enough behavior, I thought, why not advance it a little quicker? So now things we could work on would be with Millie kind of close. Hey, yes, the girl, look at you. So anything we can do to start teaching her, pay attention to me, even if there's a dog around. So a lot of times, someone reaching over the fence and petting the other dog will create an issue, so I was curious to see how she'd handle that. Miss Millie, hey. Oh, yeah. So right there, she's much more alert than she was earlier. She was staring a lot more and the mouth was shut. I moved my hand and backed up because I don't want to be right here if she were to get set off. Not only is my leg, potentially in the way, but then it's a lot harder to pull her back if you're already right there. So there, I couldn't see her face for a second, which I don't love. That stick is something she could potentially guard. I don't know her well enough to know if that's something she'll try, but if she likes that stick, she might go from friendly to aggressive in an instant to tell this dog to leave it alone. Millie, you good girl. Yeah. Hi. What do you think, Montana? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So now Montana being your dog might be worse, and a lot of dogs are worse when they're with their owners. So I would encourage you that if you're doing a dog intro, I would not want you to sit right next to her and pet her like this. That's asking for trouble. This is a really good spot that Montana might want to guard, to say like, this is my owner, this is my space, this is my love and affection, not yours. So we want to do everything we can to make this go well. A lot of fights at dog parks happen where the dog runs up to the owner's then doing this with the dog, everything's great. Another dog walks up and then this dog attacks. Through time, you'll be able to trust her in that scenario, but you're not there yet. So if they're smelling each other through the fence, or if we bring that dog in, I want you to just kind of keep your distance from her. And if she were to come up like underneath your legs or right here, I would probably just step back, because she might also use you as like a place to hide. Even though she's a big dog, she might come around and poke her head out from between your legs. And if the other dog comes out, then she might lash out to say, stay away from me. So of course, Montana has a little bit of history with this guy. So this right here is great. I love that she tried to smell his rear end as he turned to walk away. I only moved so I could see her face. Now, she doesn't trust him whatsoever. We haven't done the walking with him like we did with Millie, right? We walked them back and forth 30 times before we got to this fence. She hasn't seen him except for an incident, right? They've never had any good interactions together. So now when you do this, I want you to have a lot of tools in your toolbox. I don't know what I'm gonna do next because I don't know what she's gonna do and I don't know what the other dog's gonna do. So could you walk her to calm her down? Sure. Could you even use the 45-degree angle and walk along the fence and an angle away? Absolutely. Could you practice doing some of these? Hey, come on, girl. Let's go. Yes, there you go. Could you do a couple of those? I mean, of course you could. So I just want you to have all these little tools in your toolbox. Come on. So when she sees the dog, you have some sort of options. And all that talk about dog body language we've done, obviously don't forget it. Watch her mouth, watch her ears, her tail, all of those things. Come on, girl. So what we're seeing out of Montana right now is she's somewhat aloof, but she smelled. I love that. So when she's smelling, she wants to get to know him. So I will take this any day. She doesn't have to be friends with every dog, but I want you to have realistic expectations. Your goal should be that she just doesn't cause trouble, that she doesn't go out of her way to fight dogs, that she doesn't lunge and bark, that she's confident, that she's happy. But if a new dog comes up to the fence and she's like, hey, that guy's not for me, but she just acts calm, that's absolutely fine. So now I'm gonna let her off leash. Many dogs are different. As the second the leash comes off, she's not going to be a lot different, I don't think, because she's been in a pretty good state today, but there's always a chance. So we can see tail is still a little bit low with this guy. She's curious, but not trusting. I see the mouth is open. I think most of her kind of, look, see her watch the handler there? She's curious, which is great, because earlier she was kind of nervous of all the new people. And so this is amazing exposure for her to be able to just be by a dog. So now she leaned forward. I didn't do anything to stop that. If I thought she was gonna attack, I would have made a noise and tried to stop her. Once again, yawning, stress relief, which is great. Mouth is open. She's alert, she's watching. So when you have these good situations, take advantage of them. So you could do this for as long as you wanted. If you had a friend over and they had a dog, and if this is where you stopped, if you didn't feel comfortable getting her in to actually play, you could hang out like this for 45 minutes, and this is great exposure for her. Now, from what I've seen today, I think she's ready to play with Millie, the other dog we just had out, And I think she would play with this guy. My worry with him would be she'd trust him a little bit less. So if he jumped on her, I think it might spook her. But I think we're ready for play sessions pretty much anytime. So Montana did great today. I think you probably feel good about it. For everyone watching, I want you to look at this and realize that this is about an hour of work. So we did it pretty quickly, but there's much more that still needs done. So I don't want you to take away from this that obedience doesn't matter or that heel doesn't matter. We can do a lot of this just by having a connection with the dog. Going forward, she needs to learn heel, sit, down, stay, come, and all of that stuff is gonna help. But overall, I think today was a huge success, and we had really her first reactions with a new dog in quite a while that were positive, so that's a win.